voices, my writing. The only limits in our life are those we impose on ourselves. Bob Proctor. I have seen the way the heterosexual community looks at the LGBT plus community. On a trip where I met LGBT plus persons who are out, they shared how difficult their relationships can sometimes be. Sometimes a partner is HIV positive, which can add complication to their situation. Some spoke about how lesbians in a relationship are not exempt from domestic violence, that even in this context, violence can occur. As a key correspondent, a citizens journalist, I focused on writing about violence in the LGBT plus community. On this journey, I discovered how these cases never get spoken about, and how the LGBT plus have a lack of knowledge and understanding about their own rights, or what is detailed in the Namibian constitution. Homosexuality is not illegal in the country, yet the way the general population behave with stigma and discrimination, as well as how members of the LGBT plus community act, carry guilt and shame, living in the shadows. One could swear the latter were doing something wrong. One way lesbian women try to protect themselves is by taking on manly roles in relationships, a warped patriarchy, while the transgender remain victims of public insults, attacks and rape. With so much psychological trauma to deal with, LGBT plus persons sometimes look to substance abuse as a coping mechanism. Some bring violence into the home by abusing their own loved ones and partners, while others have attempted or committed suicide. Some people I interviewed said surviving is all they can do. Working on the ground to interview people about their stories, I've learned how, while some aim to survive their lives, others have lost that altogether. This has an impact on friends and family members. The silence keeps swinging loosely. I have tried to advise women to speak out, but that's often easier said than done. Most of the time I feel like I need to do more. In the 2 years I have been a KC, I have lobbied for the reprogramming of women's projects. The aggression and violence that happen in small towns are deeply embedded problems. Over those 2 years, it has been both inspiring and sometimes quite dramatic to see the reality on the ground, where few have ventured. Sure, there are moments worth celebration, stories of resilience and overcoming challenges, but it's also here that one sees the deepest things, the unspoken things. People quietening their identity because of fear of being thrown out of a shack, being mistreated or disrespected. As much as the 50-50 gender equality rule exists in Namibia, more gender-based violence pours out. The law fails to protect lesbian women suffering abuse at the hands of their partners. It serves to suppress the raped trans woman. She is silenced. My work as a KC has made me reflect on myself. It has offered some personal growth and offered a new direction. As a KC, my eyes are open to opportunity, possibility, but also the dangers that come with pursuing these truths. To be conscious in this world we live in is to take note of the reality on the ground. We need to look at situations with multiple lenses: academic, activist, social, political, and personal, in order to start tackling the problem effectively.